In a city where every second can mean the difference between life and death, one man's mission to save a patient was halted not by traffic, not by time, but by bias. Dr. Marcus Greene, a trusted trauma surgeon, was stopped on his way to perform emergency surgery. What happened next wasn't just a delay, it was a revelation. This is the true story of how a routine traffic stop exposed a much deeper wound in the heart of Chicago. In the heart of Chicago, where sirens weave through traffic like nervous threads, and lives are held together by the hands of people like Dr. Marcus Greene. Time is never wasted, except for that day when time was stolen. Marcus was a trauma surgeon, not just any surgeon, but one known across Mercy General as the doctor who could pull the dying back from the edge, calm under pressure, precise to the second. He had seen violence, grief, and miracles play out on the same operating table. But nothing prepared him for what happened that July afternoon. He was racing back to the hospital. A young woman, barely 20, had been rushed in with multiple stab wounds. Her chances were slim, but Marcus had saved people from worse if he got there fast. He could give her a shot. Every second mattered. Then the red and blue lights lit up behind him. Officer Jake Whitman, new to the force but already notorious for his instincts. He pulled Marcus over without sirens, without reason, just a hard stare, and the kind of authority that feeds off silence. Marcus rolled down the window. "Is there a problem?" "Officer." "You tell me. You were moving fast. I'm a trauma surgeon. There's a patient waiting. Life or death." Whitman raised an eyebrow. "You got proof." Marcus showed his hospital ID, still clipped to his coat pocket. But it wasn't enough. Whitman made him step out, ran his license twice, claimed protocol, then stood there, hand on his belt, asking questions that had nothing to do with traffic or safety. And all the while, the clock ticked. Marcus didn't argue. He knew what escalation looked like. He had patched up enough of it in the ER. By the time he arrived at Mercy General, 14 minutes had passed. 14 minutes too long. The woman survived, but barely. Complications set in. The delay had cut into the golden hour. Her recovery would be harder, longer. Her parents never asked why Marcus had been late, but he carried the answer like a weight in his chest. He told no one at first, but a nurse had seen his hands shaking that night. Another caught a glimpse of the dashboard cam footage, the tension in Marcus's voice as he tried to reason with the officer. Word spread through the hospital, then to the community. What followed was swift and loud. Doctors, nurses, paramedics stood together. They knew Marcus, knew his heart, knew his record. And they knew what it meant when one of their own was pulled from duty, not by a crisis, but by bias. Social media picked up the footage. Protests formed outside the station. Not angry mobs, but colleagues in scrubs, holding signs that read, "Let us do our jobs and bias delays kill." The police department initially defended Whitman, said he followed protocol, claimed Marcus was uncooperative. But the footage told a different story. Eventually, the mayor stepped in, called for an independent investigation. What they found wasn't just one mistake, but a pattern. Whitman had stopped 7 other drivers that week, all of them black. None of them ticketed. Just questioned, detained, and released. He was suspended, ordered into intensive training, quietly reassigned. But Marcus, he stood in front of a city council hearing weeks later, hands steady now. "I save lives," he said. But that day, I was denied the chance to try. Because someone saw threat instead of purpose. A badge doesn't give you instinct. It gives you responsibility. His voice didn't shake, but the room did. Since then, Chicago has changed slowly, but meaningfully. A citywide alert system was created for on-call medical responders. Officers now train with ER teams. New conversations are happening in roll calls, in schools, in city halls, and Marcus. He went back to the OR, back to the silence before the scalpel hits skin. But he also took on something new, mentoring young black men who dream of medicine, reminding them that their credentials won't always protect them, but their courage just might. Because some seconds, once lost, can never be returned. But what you do with the ones that follow that can save more than lives, it can change the system.